It is available on YouTube as well, but not through the internal mic. So the question was, if somebody is following the law of life and calls it morality, will Tantra object to that? Tantra has no objection whatsoever. It is. Principal personalities are dead personalities. Tantra is not interested in them. Tantra has no objection if you feel good being dead. That is your choice. You can commit suicide, and this is suicide. And Tantra is for those who are alive, and the truth and the ultimate, whatever you call truth, whatever you call love, whatever you call ultimate, it is alive and pulsating. Not what you call love. That may be dead, but it has the potentiality to be revived. It is life. Life is alive. Truth is alive. So Tantra is for those who want to be more alive, more living, and that is truth, the ultimate, that is love. Remember that. Ultimate is not dead. Truth is not dead. It is alive. It is life. More life. Jesus has said, made the statement, abundant life, intimate life. So by being dead, you can never reach the ultimate. If you have to reach the mountain peak or somewhere, you have to be alive, pulsating, overflowing tremendous energy. It is life, an abundant life. Then by being dead, you will never be in contact with that which is alive. Just by being more alive, more vulnerable, more sensitive, less principled, and more alert, you will reach. So what is the focus on Tantra? Being alive, wakefulness, not a sleepy. Why do you seek principles? You may not have observed why. It is because with principles you need not be alert. You are told that you have to do the rosary, you have to do this zikr, and see, you are doing it mechanically. When you are driving your vehicle, you can, after some time, your hands, the steering automatically moves towards your home or towards your office, because it is mechanical. There is no aliveness. So there is no alertness. Tantra's entire focus is on being alive and alert. If you are alert, then whatsoever you do, it will help you. Why do you seek principles? Because if you have principle, you have to do the rosary. You see the Hare Krishna people, their hands, or anybody, a Muslim or a Hindu, their hands, they have a bag, they have the rosary going on, and they are even watching the television show, but their fingers are going on the rosary and continuing, and they say, I have chanted the name of Allah 24,000 times or 38 times, whatsoever it is. Mirza Ghalib is said to have said that I have broken my rosary. Why should I count the name of Allah? Why should I count how many times I remember Allah when He gives me in infinite quantums? He never counts how much is to be given to this person or that person. Then why should that person remember that I have done the rosary 108 times or 10 times or 15 times? So when you are doing, you can be watching the television, because after some time the hands become mechanically trained that they don't need you, don't need any attention. You can continue doing that. I recall when I was a child, small, growing up, so a certain part of our uh, property was rented out to some business people, and they were dealing in wholesale of the food grains and whatsoever was in the season, sugar, jaggery, cotton, things like that. So on the outside compound, outside the house, there was a temple. So it was on the same compound where these people had their business. And so the man who was at the head of affairs, he says that he is a worshipper of Shiva, and he does 1 hour prayer. So the temple had 2 doors. One door he will keep it open and sit down there. So that door, from that door he can keep a watch on whosoever coming by my house, entering there. And during that period, if the phone is ringing and nobody answers the phone, he will call somebody's name, and while the fingers are counting the beads of the rosary, and he is anxiously listening whosoever called. And then the phone had a very long cord, almost maybe 100 feet. So it will be brought to him, not a cordless phone. And it would be brought to him in the temple. His hands are doing the rosary and he is doing his business. So are you alert? When you have a principle that you have to do 2 hours prayer, there should be no time for it. It should be one day you may finish your prayer early, or meditation next day. It all depends upon how the energy is flowing and how you are absorbing it. That is more important. So principled man is almost dead, he is not alert. Tantra's main focus is on your alertness. If you are alert and alive, the Upanishads say that awake and arise. You awake, get up, and wake up first, and then get up. You may wake up from alarm rings, you may wake up, but that does not mean you have risen from the bed. You have gotten up from the bed. Suppose I make a principle out of non-violence, then I stick to it. Gandhi was considered to be the propagator of non-violence. Was he non-violent? There are stories, anecdotes. Gandhiji was in Transvaal, South Africa. He has become that should not take the help. They normally, there is somebody coming to do the cleaning of the restrooms, kitchen and all these. So he said, all the work we have to do ourselves. So in the West, we are accustomed to doing our work, the kitchen work, the cleaning, the restrooms, and all that ourselves. There may be some people who may have that. So Kasturba, his wife, was expecting. And when somebody is expecting that time, the person feels very vulnerable to these smells. So normally, if it is an early stage, people feel nauseated and so she was he told her that she has to do the cleaning of the restrooms, but she used to feel nauseated, and when he was feeling nauseated, she was not doing. So one day on a cold winter night, he put Kasturba out of the house because she refused to do the cleaning of the toilet, of the restroom. Is this an example of non-violence of Gandhi? You may have a principle non-violence. You may be a self-torturous sadist or masochist. So you have to, this is the problem when you create a principle that you have to do the meditation 1 hour or 30 minutes. Oh, today I did not do the meditation 1 hour. Every morning from 3:30 when I get up after the restroom and so, I do my exercises. But it happens sometimes it is delayed. Instead of 3:30, I maybe did get up or delay by some reason or the other 10-15 minutes. So according to the time I do the exercise. Is not a principle that every morning I have to do that. Yes, that keeps the body, all the parts of the body in activity and the constant movement, and so that is what is needed. In that there are certain stretch exercises, stretch for the feet, stretch for the hands, stretch for the upper extremity. Then there are certain breathing exercises that they change the breathing patterns, then certain other things. So it is a combination of all that, there is no principle behind it. Truth can only be alive not through the principles but through your alertness. If you are awake, if you are alert, you can, truth will be alive in you. Not through principles. Each moment you have to be alert in order to be true. I give you one more example. Outside we have, in order for making my living, I have an Indian grocery selling East Indian products. So we have only 3 car parks available. So we put the cone, the no parking signs, so that otherwise what happens there, anybody can park the vehicle there and go on. So we have told our workers, if anybody is parking there, find out from them if they are coming here. If they are not coming here, then they had to find the parking elsewhere. This is the very common and general policy that we are following. So at times they skip, at times they follow. So I was by the door, a person parked the vehicle. So this boy went and he asked him if he is coming here. So he said no, he just parking for 5 minutes, he has to go and collect something. So he said no, you cannot park. So I came out. I looked at the person. It was difficult for him to come out of the vehicle. He was an elderly person. Normally you sit down, and if you are young you can come out immediately. Otherwise it takes a while for you to come out, and so. So when I saw him coming out, I mentioned it to him. I said, this is a principle, a policy, but you must know when to follow it and when not to follow it. You look at the person, he is taking time to come out. If you tell him that he cannot park here, he will have to go elsewhere and park. We don't know where he will get the parking, and then he may have to walk down to that place. He is saying that 5 minutes he will be parked there. So I said, in that case, there are possibilities. I can tell him that there, leave your their the keys. In case anybody comes in, we will just shift your car. There are certain car parks in a busy city where they park the cars in such a way that you cannot bring out the car on your own. In order to bring out your car, they have to bring certain cars outside. So if you need to park there, there is a policy that you have to leave your keys there. If you don't want to leave the keys there, then you park elsewhere. And this is in a busy town where the offices, the courts, the other government offices are there. So I told him the principle is one, and you must know when and how to follow, to use that principle, how to follow it. This person was elderly. The human consideration is most important. You must remember that you are a human being first, and anything else afterwards. He is an elderly person, and he may not be able to walk as freely as I saw him coming out of the vehicle. So this is what is important. If you want to live your life according to principles, rules, and regulations, then you need not worry. You need not worry about being alert around. This was the question of, there is a principle, there is a policy, but the one who is ready to use that policy, he has to be aware, alert, who to allow and who not to allow. There was another situation. One person used to park before we go, before we are ready to open our store, the vehicle is parked, and then remains whole day park, and nobody knows whose vehicle is this. And even after I leave, then the car is still parked. And that was happening on a regular basis. So then I figured out afterwards, that car belonged to another business owner who was dealing in electronic items. He did not park at his place, his vehicle. His parking he left for his customers, and using my car park. I recall a situation that had happened in Canada. When we were not getting the parking, we parked in front of a house. It was a cold winter night and went. When we came back, our windscreen was painted in black. You can imagine. Because you parked without the permission. So I said, I could do anything, take out the air, but that is from the wheel, from the tire, but that is not right. So I wrote a note, this parking is for our customers. So please do not park your vehicle. This is simply an humble request. If it is not followed, then we will have to take action. So it happened from that location, it was parked a little lower down, but all those parks was for the customers. So then I had to write again, and finally it happened. I wrote on a piece of paper and stick it on his windscreen, which was a better practice than spraying the paint on the person. Give the person an opportunity. If you do want to park your vehicle, You can leave the keys in an event. We have to move the vehicle, we will move it, and that for that you need to have trust in us. So principles are very easy, but when and how to apply, interpret the principles. If you are not human being, you are simply a mechanical, a dead person. You have made a policy that you cannot park. No, you cannot park. There are people like that. But as a person who is want to grow inwardly, he has to know how to interpret the principles and when. For that, the human consideration is very important. I gave you the examples of that. And that shows your inner growth, your character, your way, that makes you a different person. So I had mentioned it to the boy. I said, next time when you are doing, just make sure. And if the person says that he will be for a little longer time, I said, you can leave your car keys here. In an event anything need arises, we will shift your car and you do not need to worry and it will remain safe. So you can create the confidence in the person. Just your presence can create the confidence in the person. And that is very important as far as Tantra is concerned. You are not just like a railway train that is running on the tracks. Those tracks are your principles. You are not afraid because you cannot miss the path. You do not have the direction. The train driver does not need to do anything. Like when you are driving the vehicle, you have to know the route, you have to direct. Whereas in the railway track, even when the direction is to be changed, it is the control room that aligns the railway tracks in a different way that the vehicle or the train automatically moves. When a pilot is flying a plane, it is the control room that directs and governs everything through the system. You have to keep on following the system and then everything will happen accordingly. And when the plane flies, so every control tower at the airport has a certain range that the air traffic control system will control. Its range is 500 miles, and so when it will navigate up to that mile, it will be handed over to the next air traffic controller. So it remains connected to the air traffic controller. If any problem arises, it sends message to the air traffic controller to decide what to do in that situation. Because from there, it may not know where is the nearby airport where it can land in an event of emergency. So it is the airport. So in the train case, it is the train controller who changes the direction, changes the alignment of the railway tracks so that it turns from this way or that way. Sometimes it happens it is going eastward up to a certain distance, then it will go the southwestern way, so it will change the direction, and all these things happen. Tantra says life is not like that. It is more like a river. It is running on its own. River is not running on the railway tracks. It does not have an air traffic controller, anything. It is simply rivering. As it moves, it finds its way. When you are going somewhere, you have a navigation system. It directs you the way to go. But is there any navigation system? Canal may have a navigation system because it has a particular direction, but river finds its own direction. Nobody points out to the river that the ocean flows this way, you have to go. If you have to reach to the Pacific Ocean, you have to go this way or that way. No, there is nothing there. River, life is a river. It is not running on railway tracks, on rails. It is like life is like a river. The path has not yet even is not charted before. As the river flows, the path is created. So a spiritual journey or inward journey is like that. As you move forward, your intuition tells you now you have attained to this state. The next you have to move that way. As the river flows, the path is created. As the river moves, the path is created. The river will reach the ocean, and this is how it should be. If you understand the way the river flows, you know Tantra way. Life is a river. There is no pre-charted way, predestined route or anything. There are no maps to be given to you. Sometimes people ask about the maps for the inward journey which cannot be given to you in any way. There is no map to be given to you. As you move, certain things change within. Your approach, your understanding of the life changes. It comes in the company of the one who knows about it, one who is awakened. When you are in the company of such a person, automatically things begin to happen in you. You will see that you are not doing anything, but things are happening. The presence is creating that. There is no predestined path, no navigation system. There is no map given to you which you have to follow. If you are traveling, going from one place to another, then you use a road map. You use the navigation system, Google Map or something else. Just for inward journey, just be alive and alert. And then wherever the life leads you, go with full confidence in it. The river it may be vulnerable, but it is full of confidence that how many miles the Ganga travels from Gomukh, from its origin to the place where it merges with the ocean. It passes through various cities, places, nourishing and nurturing everything. In the same way as you traverse along the life's roads, many places, many people will come to meet you. You are nourishing and nurturing everyone that comes and that is open and ready for that journey. Continues to nourish. Your way, your life continues to nourish and nurture, sharing whatever you can do for that person. The river is flowing from this point at a certain speed, at a certain pace. So the place that is there, the land, it fertilizes, it nourishes and nurtures the tree that come in its contact. In its way, it nourishes, gives them the water, absorbs their nutrition and helps them to grow. Such is the life of an awakened one. You have to live your life like that. Whosoever comes in your contact, Share what you have. There is no principle. What I gave you the example, there was no principle for it. It is simply the awakening. It guides you when to follow, how to follow a particular pattern, particular way of life. You are rivering. River is continuously moving. It has its rhythm, it has its flow, it has a melody. And that song you cannot hear. If you are vulnerable, you can hear. Just be alive and alert, then wherever life leads you, go with full confidence and trust in life. Tantra is trust. Tantra is trust. Trust, a trust in life force. The pranavayu, Ellen White. Allow it to lead you, not your principles, not your mind. Do not forget it. Surrender to it and allow it to lead you towards the ocean, towards the ultimate. And enlightenment is merging the river, the drop merges with the ocean. That is why in Sufis it is called fana and baka. Fana, when the drop merges in the ocean, this is the first step. The moment drop merges with the ocean, it loses its identity. It becomes egoless. There is no vulnerability that I am this, I am that. You remember from the Hindu scripture Ramcharitmanas, Hanuman. He had so many qualities, Tulsidas mentions it. Ashtasiddhi, Navnidhi. When he was a child growing up, Indra gave him boon that water cannot drown you, fire cannot burn you. And he has so many qualities and what he does when he meets Sita in Ashok Vatika, says that what is your introduction? He says, Ma tu main Ram Doot Hanuman. Main Ram Doot, this is my only identity. You are working in a particular place. What is your identity? My identity is I am the employee of that place. And then he says in the second, Shapat Karuna Nidhan ki, by the oath of the Karuna Nidhan, means compassionate, who is the embodiment of compassion. I take whatever I am saying that I am Ram Doot Hanuman, I am saying it because of that. He does not say any other quality. He does not give any other introduction. When you are given and you give your introduction, I am so and so, I am Dr. this. I did my master's from Massachusetts, then I did it from Oxford, then I have a PhD from this, and then even on your letterhead, all those qualifications are written there. Go with surrender means, fana means egolessness. The drop has merged with the ocean, and the moment drop merges with the ocean, then the drop becomes oceanic. The moment you have no ego in you, you are identified as an employee of that company, which is like the ocean. You are a drop. You represent the company. I am the employee of this company. Oh, you are employee of this company. That company has a great reputation. Yes, I am a worker of that. My ID is an employee of that organization, that firm. Surrender, this is surrender. This is fana. And then by virtue of that, you become oceanic. So when an individual merges into the cosmic consciousness, This is the beginning of enlightenment. And in final stage, it is the ultimate, the existence lends its identity to the person. It is now the person becomes cosmic. He is no more individual. The drop has its identity. The moment it attains to fana, it merges with the ocean, it becomes ocean. It loses its identity, beginning of enlightenment. You are dissolving in the existence. And the moment you are full and dissolving, it happens in a step by step, stages. The moment you are completely dissolved in the existence, then you are not there. The existence speaks through you. Through silent gestures, it speaks through you. And then you become cosmic. You are no more, you do not have any more individual identity. Yes, for the sake of certain things, you have an individual identity. You are not like a automobile or vehicle, which is everything looks the same. Then in order to identify your vehicle, there is a chassis number, there is a number plate, there is a color. Otherwise, all the vehicles of a particular model, particular brand, they look the same. They are identified differently. If your car, the color of your car and that of anybody else is the same, then the immediate attention, the differentiation comes through the number plate. We do not put the number plates or chassis number on Buddhas. They are identified in a different way. Allow it to lead you, do not force it, surrender to it and allow it to lead you towards the sea. It is very important to remember that Tantra is not simply concerned with the end. It is also concerned with the means. Means are important and the end is important. It is also concerned with the path, not with the destination alone. The road that you follow, because there are beauties along the route. When you are traveling from your place to by road to another place, there are many scenic beauties around there. So along the path of enlightenment, the road to enlightenment, there are many beautiful gardens, beautiful spring seasons comes in. You are so Tantra is concerned with all through those. How you interact in a particular situation. Not only with the destination. If you are alert, even this will be the bliss for you. You are going through and all of a sudden you see by the road a waterfall, unidentified waterfall. You are enamored by the beauty of that waterfall. You pause there, you feel relaxed, you can get connected to that waterfall. It becomes a blissful. It is also concerned with path, not only with the destination. If you are alert and awake, then life will be bliss. The very movement of the river is a bliss itself. Passing through the valleys, through the rocks, falling down from a hill, moving into the unknown, all is blissful river. Along the life's roads, many such moments comes when you are rivering through the valleys, you are climbing the rocks, falling from the rock, moving into the unknown and uncharted path. All is bliss. But for that, you have to be alert, because the ocean is the ultimate, cannot be happening only in the end. It cannot be, it is a growth. Enlightenment is a growth. How you move your life on a moment to moment basis, how you go through, as the life moves, the river of life moves through the valleys, through the rocks, through the mountains, through all these things. This is a bliss. It is a growth. The river is growing to the ocean. It's not moving. River is growing and becoming the ocean. River is growing. The movement of the river is not a movement, it is a growing growth, and it grows into ocean. It is not simply going to meet the ocean. No, it is growing to be the ocean. There is a difference. The river is growing to be the ocean. The seed is growing slowly and slowly to become the flower. Is growing. Enlightenment is the growth to be cosmic. River is growing to the ocean. It is not simply going to meet the ocean. It is growing to be the sea. This is possible only through the experience, being alert experience, moving and trusting the life, the path, the means. This is how Tantra looks at the search, at the human search. Of course, it is dangerous. If river can be run through predestined path, there will be less danger, lesser errors, but the whole beauty of being alive and alert every moment will be lost. You can sit down in the car, going through from your destination as a tourist to some place, and if you fall asleep in the car, you will miss the beauties along the path, the road, the journey. You may see. That's why when you are going through the mountain, you can see the tall cedar trees. You can see the waterfalls, unidentified waters all along the path. Sometimes the narrow path, sometimes the broader path, sometimes you have to drive very carefully, and sometimes you see scanty huts there, a small place that is plying its trade. All these are the beauties. This can only be possible if you are alert and alive. So never follow any principle. Just be the creator of more and more consciousness, more and more alertness. These principles will happen to you, but do not make yourself imprisoned in them. Allow your freedom. Only then you will be able to know that Tantra has no controversy of anything. If you call a certain things, certain way of life as moral, Tantra has no objection. Only this much for this morning. Until tomorrow, take care and do have a pleasant day.